As I look to the horizon, not a cloud, but then storming weather's go too cold. Seems like it crept up out of nowhere, all around you is not what you foretold. You never see it coming. You see that my mind is too fast for eyes. You're done, but the time is hit you, you're not surprised.
Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying? Oh my god, stop you fucking lying.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. This is DSP News. Ladies and gentlemen, we're here with Snort Burnell, Dspgaming. He'll be addressing the situation pertaining to his suspension off Twitch, which happened. When that happened? It happened on Monday, if I'm correct. So, before we get into the video, though, let's actually address it, because as you know, we did a video on it, and thank all of you for supporting it and for a lot of your comments and some of the concerns that you guys may have actually had as it pertains to Phil's circumstances. Now, let's talk about some things that we don't necessarily know yet. We don't know who it was that dropped the dime on Phil. We don't know with any real certainty what was the actual cause or trigger that caused Phil to be temporarily suspended and whatnot. As all of you know at this point, because Phil is back up and desperate as ever, he was not banned permanently, nor any of us thought he could be. Now, according to what some of you guys said in the comment section and what some of the things I was looking up, there are some violation tiers that he has to go through before he could actually be banned. Be banned. This is his first official violation to our general understanding, at least that caused a suspension, I should say. He has at least one, maybe two more before he can actually be permanently banned. But there are certain cases and certain circumstances where if the violation is what's the word I'm looking for? If it's drastic enough, then he can be banned outright, indefinitely. Now, as I said in my previous video, on that previous news report, he could petition, or he could put in a counter notification to be like, hey, this is what my circumstance is, could you reconsider? Now, with that being said, one of you had laid down a comment because I had brought up Low Tier God in his situation. Now, Low Tier God was suspended a couple of times before he was actually kicked off the actual website itself, Twitch. And I had said that, you know, it's possible that Low Tier God may one day get back on there. And one of you had pointed out that there's no way that they're going to let Low Tier God back on Twitch. Like, there's no way in hell. So I actually decided to go up and I did some research on it. And you may very well be right. You may be very well right. He might not ever be able to get back on. Because it wasn't his case is way different, by the way. His case is definitely different. But he's fighting. The only way Low Tier God will probably actually get back on Twitch is either A, someone just decides to let him back in, or B, he goes behind the scenes and talks to the people on Twitch and gets something worked out. If not, he's kind of stuck where he's at. I still firmly feel that he can get back on Twitch, which would end up helping him grow. Helping his channel grow. But that's neither here nor there. That's just my opinion. But you might be right, though, my friend. He may not be able to make it back on Twitch. If he does, it'll be a very long time until he does. Not necessarily to say that pigs fly. But, with that being said, would pig roaches count? Because roaches do fly. At least I think. I'm pretty sure. I don't even know when the last time I saw a roach. So, I mean, last time I watched the Phil video. So, I'm not even sure about that one. But still. So that's what we don't, we're not sure about that in particular. Who was it that dropped the dime on him, or what the circumstances are? I can tell you what the aftermath is, and let's get into that right now. First things first is Phil will no longer be able to say anything about fundraising on Twitch, period. It can't be in his title. I don't know if there's tags on Twitch, but they definitely can't do that. It's definitely not allowed in his chat anymore, which is very interesting because if you guys have ever seen a Phil chat, you find your racism, your sexism, and all kinds of other isms in there. But now fundraiser is a definite no-no because that can hurt Phil. It can hurt Phil rather drastically. So no more of that. With that being said, Phil is no longer allowed by any stretch of the imagination to ask for cheers or bits. Not only that, but he can also not say we're going to hold a drive for cheers and bits to reach a particular goal, meaning to save the house. That's a no-no too. He can no longer ever do that on Twitch, or he's screwed. With that being said, let's talk about what he can do while he's on Twitch. Begging for subs and tips is actually fine. He's more than willing to do that. Good for him. Now, with that being said, and being that asking for subs and tips are, acceptable, that means those notifications and icons that he usually has on his screen, he doesn't like putting it up there all the time, but he's going to do it now because he has no choice. Those will all be legal. And I would assume as time goes on, you'll see that more and more, which is a good thing because if you are a Phil supporter, you now know where your money's going and how much of that money has been accumulated. You have a better idea of how much money is being put up. Phil is forced to be more transparent with you on where your guys' money is going. And so if you guys are a Phil supporter, you should be glad about this. You should be happy about this. Phil, as it pertains to you, because I'm going to speak to you directly, you sitting there begging for pennies never made no sense at all. I understand that you like to blow your situations out of proportion, but begging for pennies, I mean, whatever. It was, I'm actually glad that you can't do that anymore. I'm really glad that you can't beg for cheers and bits anymore. Have some decency, have some shame, have some pride, for Christ's sake. If you're not going to get a job, that's fine, but don't sit there and ask for pennies and be happy about it. Jesus Christ. Anyway, speaking of, now we were talking about subs and we were talking about subs and tips and how that was legal for him to beg for. Good for him. But Phil has dropped in subs, ladies and gentlemen. He's dropped down to about 435 subs to be exact. Now the number might have gone up since he's come back to stream, coming back to Twitch, making his triumphant return. Not anything close to Dr. Disrespect, but by any means of the imagination. But whatever, take what you can get. But before Phil actually left, before his suspension, he was right at the 489 mark. Maybe he was at 490. It's hard to say. Apparently, there is a person named Infinity55. I hope I'm saying your name right. Or an Affinity55, who actually gifted 55 subs for Phil. I want you to think about that, ladies and gentlemen. This person gifted Phil he gifted 70 subs. Or over 70 subs, I apologize. Over 70 subs. So we're talking about somewhere in the 350 to 400 mark he spent money on to gift Phil subs to raise Phil's overall sub count. They were basically padding the numbers, ladies and gentlemen. And now this is going to be detrimental to Phil. Now, as you know, Phil has his little sponsorship deal with Twitch, and he's had it for a long time. He'll be fine. He's not going anywhere. It's not going to hurt him in any type of long-term situation. He's going to be good. But this right here is a bit daunting because now the numbers aren't there for him. And since the numbers aren't there, the confidence that he was building up amongst himself and his audience is no longer there. Phil has actually put himself into a hole. So to the person who actually gave Phil all this money, I'll have the tweets for that in the actual video itself. Either A, if you did this to troll him, $350 to almost $400 is a lot of money to troll with, but you know, everybody has to get their kicks somehow. If you were doing this to try to help Phil, congratulations, you've hurt Phil even more so. See, and this is what I've always tried to talk about in some of my videos, where Phil is all about the short term. He's never about the long term. He can't see it. He can't imagine it. He can't visualize it like regular people. Here's the sad part. Now his very audience is the exact same way. Everything they do is really just short-term gains, but it will not produce any long-term results. And in the end, they'll only end up hurting him, which in turn will only end up hurting them. And it becomes a vicious circle. I had said that this whole tax situation was a long-term con. I still believe that. And the thing is it's going to work. Because with Phil, his story keeps changing. Now he's paying taxes every 3 months on top of paying for, or every 2 months. 2 to 3 months he's paying taxes on top of his federal tax every year. If you go by that logic, he can literally have a drive for money every 2 months and get paid well for it. If it's every 3 months, it's actually probably even better, because it gives the cult enough time to work that overtime so they can get the money to him, and he still has his federal. They're not helping him. They've reduced themselves to slavery. I know that seems drastic to say that, but that's what this is. And what is he providing you? What is he giving you guys in return? What is your investment really in? If you're a DSP supporter, I mean. How long are you going to continue to help this man until he's ready to help himself? I want you to think about that when you go to your job, or when you're looking at the money that you had saved up for something, a new part for your PC, a new game, whatever it is, and you're watching a Phil stream and he's like, you know what, guys, I could really use I could really use a couple of you guys a sub, or I could really use some tips right now. You know what I mean? I'm just really nervous right now. I'm so nervous. I'm so nervous, and I'm working my ass off here on my couch, sweating, while my girlfriend's downstairs making me a home-cooked meal, because God forbid Din Din better be on the table at 7 p.m. You don't want it, because Lord knows I need to sit there and eat leftovers again, and then go ahead and make myself a gin and tonic, and then get pissed off on Twitter till like 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm just saying. This is what you're supporting. You guys can hate me for all you want. You can hate any detractor all you want and say, oh, you guys are assholes for, putting all this pressure on Phil, so on and so forth. Phil put this pressure on himself. Okay? He's at the age, and he's been at that age for a very long time, to where he needs to take some responsibility. You've let him live a life that most people never had. There are very few people who can say that they've actually made a living off YouTube. He was able to do that. Now, did he do the right things? Did he do stuff to give him longevity? No. He didn't branch out. He didn't network with people. He didn't do any of these things. What he did is he bashed everybody he could. And what little sponsorships he had, he squandered them. And whatever money he made, big money, by the way. I'm still doing some of the research on it, but there are people out there who are giving me numbers that he might have at one time been making like $120,000 a year. He might have, it was only probably for like a 2-year span, but that's a lot of money, ladies and gentlemen. And he didn't save a dime of it. He flaunted it in front of his fans. He flaunted it in front of his friends and family, and doesn't have nothing to show for it. And now look at him. Now he's reduced to begging for money. Now this is where the Wings of Redemption video kind of comes into play. The thing is about Wings is he's given up. So now he begs because that's the only thing he can see himself doing. Phil still wants to fight, and that's good. Then fight your ass off that couch, and fight your ass to your resume, and get that done and get it out there, and get yourself a real job. No one's saying that you can't do YouTube and Twitch while having a job. What's being said is you need to do that if you want to have a job. Because let's be honest, I'm going to be very vague, very quick about this, or I'm going to try to, before we get into the video. Him thinking that this girlfriend, whoever this girlfriend is, I don't think she has a job. I think it's possible that she does. I'm not seeing it. The things aren't adding up. Things aren't squaring up, as I like to say, and whatnot. With that being said, it's very possible that he's keeping her on the shelf to build up anticipation for her. Because this goes back to the whole thing about her Twitch, her YouTube, and her Twitter were nothing more than experiments for social media. She doesn't care about them. She's done with them. She doesn't care. He doesn't care. Then why are they still up? Why haven't you erased these things yet? Why hasn't she erased these things yet? If they stay up, then it's just going to give people a point of reference. Matter of fact, there is a in Snort Burnell's video, he has a he has a bit where she says that she hasn't had any lovin', as I like to call it. She ain't had any lovin'. She hasn't had no exercise in a little while, sexually. If someone can find me the timestamp for that video, please send it to me. Okay, I have plans for that and whatnot. Hope you guys like how I incorporate that in the video later. But I got plans for that. But why are you going to keep all that up, Phil, if you're not going to do anything with it? It's just like with the Panda video. Why do you have the Valentine's Day video with Panda if you don't care? If she's gone, if she's been already dismissed, but yet you keep it up there. Why? Just take the video down. It's neither here nor there. Phil's full of shit. It is what it is. Now let's talk about this video in general. Haven't watched it yet. I would assume, though, it's going to be full of misdirection, misinformation, and lies. I can only guess. And with that being said, if you are a detractor, this is what you're fighting against. Or this is what you're laughing at.
Physicality.
But if you're a Phil supporter, yet again, he basically saying, as I've always said, shut up and just give me your money. Don't worry about where your money's going or what I decide to do with it. Just give it to me because I need it. I've provided you with years of entertainment for free, and now you're going to have to pay up. And that's exactly how Phil looks at this. And it's becoming more and more transparent. This thing with Twitch right here is the first blow to Phil's new playpen. He was building himself a nice little pig pen over there on Twitch, thinking that he was going to be untouchable. And now he's not. This right here shows he can bleed. And we already knew that, but now we know he can bleed on another platform. Just like on YouTube. And this whole point of contact that he has, just like Machinima. And the thing is, it's going to work out a little bit worse. Because people at Twitch have been known to show favoritism to those who are higher up. Meaning that the doctor disrespects, if he needs a bunch of people from Twitch's administration to go to him, he can get that. Tyler 1, same thing. To Ninja and some of these other guys, if you guys watch like Fortnite and stuff like that, they can get that type of support over there almost ASAP to them. Phil can't. Phil doesn't even have 500 subs now. He's at 435, give or take, and he's still hemorrhaging. Phil's a piss on. He's a first day person. He's a first day streamer who just got lucky enough to have a partnership with them, and that's it. And this right here proves it. And now he can bleed. So now he's vulnerable. Now here's the question, ladies and gentlemen: who's gonna take him out first? The alleged trolls, detractors, and haters, or him and his own fan base? We'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see. Ladies and gentlemen, this is DSP News, always late, never breaking, unreliable coverage that you can't count on. A GTG Network and Productions. I'm gonna let the music play out, and then I'll see you guys back for the video. Or I'll see you guys for the Snort Burnell video. I'll see you soon. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're here with Snort Burnell, Dspgaming, addressing the suspension on Twitch. Should be interesting. You guys all know the slogan. It's time to watch me work.
Sound good?
Sounds great.
I am back. I have returned to Twitch TV. This shocks me.
Indeed.
I have returned to streaming. Yes, folks. Let's talk about yesterday, the big day, right? Ladies and gentlemen, yesterday was terrible. Yesterday was horrendous. Yesterday was one of the worst days in recent memory. Because sometimes, bad stuff just has to happen and there's not much you can do about it. Ladies and gentlemen, yesterday, I was in a bad way. I was distraught mentally. I was distraught physically. I was, negatively affected in a huge way. If you're not aware, ladies and gentlemen, yesterday, I had to do my taxes. Wow. Man, I'm stupid.
That's right. I had to do my goddamn taxes. I hate them. They're one of the worst times of the year. Why do we have to do them? Why? Why can't they do themselves?
I'm not a whiny baby. I'm a mature adult. And I'm not a children's entertainer.
And some people are pretty funny. You can really tell when you read people's reactions on social media to when I talk about doing stuff like this, right? You can tell the age range of the people involved. But Phil, you said you pay for an accountant. So if you pay for a tax attorney or an accountant, why do you still have to do your taxes? Shouldn't they be doing them for you? I mean, what do you pay them for? Yes, super, super duper informed and intelligent, these people.
You know, Phil, you really shouldn't talk shit about people that are in your fan base, because that's who was really asking these questions. There were people within his own fan base. So, you know how he said he's not a children's entertainer, yet it seems like the very people that are misinformed are those very people, are those very young people that are, idiots and, are very intelligent individuals. So it's funny how that worked out, isn't it?
What these people don't seem to understand, because again, they're just kids. They don't understand how real life works, is that when you have a tax...
Even more reason why people are concerned that they listen to you. Like, you don't understand how the real world works in a lot of ways. In a lot of very frightening ways, given how old you are and how far you've made it in life. But then again, that might explain why you don't have any money saved up. It might explain how you don't have any money put away for a rainy day, for retirement, for the next time you or the cat has to go to the hospital. Nothing. So, when we talk about intelligent individuals, you don't have any grounds whatsoever to be casting stones at anybody. Just saying.
Attorney / certified public accountant, they charge you by the hour. So if I were to walk into my attorney's office and I said, well, it's time for, 2017 federal taxes. Here's a stack of papers, including all my statements of all my credit cards, all my purchase histories on Xbox Live, PlayStation, everything involved with the business purchases from last year. Here's all my income documents, just 400 page here. And I just drop a binder of like 5,000 sheets on his desk, and I say, have a nice day, and I walk out. My taxes will get done. Oh, no, undoubtedly. My taxes would get done, and I would have minimal work that I'd have to put into it. However, I would probably receive a bill, no exaggeration, for about $2,000 to $3,000. Because they charge hourly, and they ain't cheap, okay? So, when you actually own your own business.
What? I'm not a business.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's funny, that whole business situation is funny too. A little bit of background. So when we first, I don't know, this was probably in like October of last year, of 2017, I guess. It might have been like October, November. It had to have been probably in October, I think. Maybe late October, early November. When Phil said that he had this situation, it wasn't his fault, it wasn't their fault, and it's really bothering him, so on and so forth. Then we find out that we actually find out that that it was his taxes. Now, the thing is, as it pertains to that whole tax situation in its own right, and the amount of money that had to be forked up for the situation, and everything else, is it could have been avoided. It really could have. His troubles, for the most part, are always his own doing. And someone else has to always be at blame, when in truth, if he just looked at himself for a minute if he looked himself in the mirror for just a second, he would realize that, you know what, if I had taken some precautions, if I had thought ahead, a lot of this stuff could have been alleviated. But he can never seem to do that. It's just not, it's not feasible to him. It just really isn't. And it makes no sense at all. So when he gets questioned on it, especially when he gets hit with logic, he clams up. He immediately clams up because he doesn't know how to respond to it. You know what I mean? When people come at him in a negative way, he can just call us idiots, morons, and this, that, and the third. But you come at him with some real logic, and he can't say anything. And that right there bothers him because it means that he doesn't have power. And he doesn't have power because he doesn't have control. And yet again, it's just the lack of foresight. It's a lack of knowledge. It's laziness. It's a bunch of things. And yet, as someone in my comment section has said, he can still pull women. Just goes to show, you don't have to be smart to find a mate, I guess.
When you own your own business.
Oh, but as it pertains to the business situation, so when we find out about the... Sorry, I got sidetracked. But when you find out about the taxes and whatnot that he owed, he immediately goes to a defensive mode and says, I don't own a business. Dspgaming is not a business and whatnot. This is an online thing. Basically, he basically tried to make it sound like this is an online... I sign in online and it pays me money. And that's it. That's basically what he tried to say. And the state of Washington looked at him and was like, yeah, you're an idiot. No, give us our money. Or we'll take everything you own and some. So for a little while, he wasn't saying anything about the business. He didn't call it a business anymore. He completely let that go. And people in his fan base and in his on his forums, in his chat, immediately picked up on it. Like, hey, Phil, how's the business going? You know, what's your situation with the business? It's not a business. It's not a business. And he started to throw people off. And then when we found out about the tax situation and he owes business tax, that's the reason why. Because he was basically being, I don't know if I'd say being audited, but as he was going through the questionnaire process, I guess, to see if he qualifies as a business, he stopped saying that, thinking that that would help him. Not realizing that he had thousands upon thousands of videos spanning years of him saying this is a business and talking about his tax write-offs, the sheet of paper for Axe the King, controllers, headsets, video games, all of these things. That's why he's stuck paying taxes now on the business, because he's a dumbass and he doesn't know how to delete videos, or he doesn't want to. He doesn't know how to cover his tracks. It's why he's in the situation that he's in. But then again, that ties into my previous point, so it all worked out.
You understand these things, but you realize that you have to basically make it as simple as possible, as consolidated as possible, so that your tax attorney / CPA can just take the data that's sorted nicely and do your taxes with minimal amount of busy work.
I don't know what busy work is. I haven't really heard that in my adult life, so whatever that is. But if Phil would just organize his receipts and everything each month and keep everything, intact as it pertains to his bills, as it pertains to what he buys for the business, if he keeps all his receipts and everything organized, then each month all he does is add to each stack respectfully, and then he's fine. Now, I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, that requires logic and some forethought and about 10-15 minutes of actual effort, and I know that's a lot. I understand that's a lot for Phil. But if he did it that way, there'd be no problems. Instead of him sitting at his alleged table crying for 8 hours about his taxes, when in truth, he was probably drinking gin and tonic and crying to Kat on how the haters are trying to take me down. The haters are trying to take me down. That's probably what really happened. But that's neither here nor there.
A good thing that I took all of yesterday to just sit down and get this friggin' done, because now it's out of the way. Now I can focus on streaming and having fun with you guys.
But anyway, that's what I was doing all day yesterday. Now, many of you were disappointed because there was supposed to be live stream, at least one live stream yesterday, in the form of Star Wars Battlefront 2. It did not happen, alright? And I apologize for that. If it could have happened, I would have done it. It was out of my control.
So far, zero, zilch. Never have I ever gotten in trouble for anything on Twitch. Twitch does not, think that anything I've done has ever been in violation of their rules. Twitch is the future. Twitch loves me and my streams.
Alright. And the bottom line is, folks, there's many, many ways that you can approach things in life. You can be someone who is a defeatist, who, when something negative happens, you just give up, you throw in the towel, you're done, forget it, I'm out of here, goodbye. You could be someone who gets angry. Oh, I'm so angry that this negative thing happened to me, and I'm going to stomp my feet and scream and yell and swear and rip things off the walls and punch through doors, and I'm going to use this anger to motivate me to do great things. And I'll be honest, folks, that's kind of how I've been. Well, that's how I was. Let's put it that way. In particular, when it comes to my legacy, 10 years...
Stop. You just described all those things except for punching a wall because, let's be honest, you don't have a lick of muscle on you. You probably break your arm doing so. You did all that last week with Dragon Ball FighterZ. you did all of that last week. Last week. The game wasn't going in your favor. The connections weren't on your side. And you quit. Because that's what you do. You're a quitter, Phil. You're a quitter. The only reason why you stayed with YouTube as long as you did is because you believed that you were successful. And in some people's eyes, and in truth, you did reach some type of measure of success. But only because you stayed on the platform for a very long time. It is what it was. You weren't able to build off of it. You reached a plateau and then you just stayed there. You weren't willing to put in the work. You weren't willing to put in the effort. You weren't willing to put in the time. You weren't able or weren't willing to reach out to other people. You had all these resources with Machinima that you didn't use. You expect them to do all the work for you. You did nothing. And here's the funny part. You're going to do the exact same thing with Twitch. The exact same thing. And watch how you get overtaken, just like you did on YouTube. When Phil says that he first started off, he brought up Maximilian and, is it the Rad Brad? I think it's the Rad Brad. He brought them up because he said that they came up right around his time. Look at them now. I don't know where the Rad Brad is at currently. He's in the millions as it pertains to subs. Easily. He's easily in the millions. And Maximilian is closing in on 1 million. You're at 183,000. So you see what actual effort, what actual work, and in a lot of ways, what actual talent will take you compared to if you sit there and you just act stagnant and you expect everybody else to do the job for you. So your 10-year legacy it's almost like a war of attrition with himself. And it was just a matter of how long could he last. That's all it really is. And in turn, that's actually the sad part about it all. DSP News.
Years of being a content creator for the internet, right? 10 years. I've been putting out gameplay videos for you guys, all right?
Garbage content.
Yep.
It's all about drama and bullshit and toxicity. It's
Yep.
not about putting out quality stuff on YouTube anymore.
And it's been a great experience, but a lot of the times when negative things happen to me, I get really angry. I just get so upset and fuming, and my head turns red, and I use that to motivate myself to make videos and to do other content and, to basically kind of reapply myself.
And back in the day, he was flagging down videos. Like, for example, when it comes to the This Is How You Don't Plays. If Phil was smart, he could have profited off of that. And if not financially, at least, directly, he could have used that as a springboard to elevate his channel. He could have done that. He had the look, but see, the thing is Phil looked deep within himself and saw that they're trying to hurt me. Those montages hurt me because it shows that I'm inept. It shows that I have limitations. It shows that I have flaws. It shows that I'm not as intelligent as I make myself out to be. And now everybody else is going to know it too. And that's why he flagged it down the first time. So when it came back, he couldn't do anything and he just quit. That's what This Is How You Don't Play represents him. Now he doesn't care because he can't do anything about it. He can't, because think about it. He tried to flag it down. He tried to profit off of it, and then he tried to make it himself. Then he tried to convince other people to do it. All four of those avenues failed. Now he doesn't do anything. Now he just lets it happen, and he just calls people idiots. But he can't do anything. Somebody with a bit more ingenuity would have reached out to them and see if they could work out a partnership deal. someone else would have sitting there and taken that and figured out a way to use it as promotion for themselves. Not Phil. And that's why Phil's where he is. So when he talks about his legacy, there's very little that anybody will ever look back on and say was positive or was good or was inspiring. They'll always look back at his negativity. The thing is, though, is the negativity they look back on won't be the detractors. It'll be himself. Just saying.
All right. But what I find, ladies and gentlemen, is that, over the years, things have changed. Certainly myself, I am changing, I think, for the better. I would like to say, I think for the better. All right? I do. I think I'm growing. I think I'm maturing in a lot of ways. Although, when you watch a stream and I'm raging at a game, that may not come across as exactly, the case. All right? But all that being said, I really do think that I'm beginning to mature.
No.
Now, let me tell you a little bit. Let me give you guys like a little bit of a secret. Sadly, the conversation's gone now. But there was a conversation with a group of people that were talking, and Phil was in this conversation. And they were talking about how Phil used to be known for his bad gameplay. Now he's known for his shitty attitude. And then he was known for his shitty attitude. Now he's known for all the problems in his life that he throws out on his fan base. And how that's all he's really known for now. The old guard, the people who aren't familiar with DSP, only think, oh, he's a shit Let's Player. For people who actually, follow this to any measure of degree, that it's really his life and what he throws on other people. And a lot of the shade and negativity that he's throwing on other people and how he treats his fan base is why he's really hated. It's not the gameplay. Excuse me. That was a long time ago. The casual people who casually or may have only heard of Phil in passing think it's just gameplay, when the people who are really here actually know what they're talking about. Phil now, this whole positive nonsense is him trying to spin the narrative back on, oh, it's okay to hate me for my games, but leave my life out of this. Yet Phil, you still have the penchant to go ahead and keep talking about your life. So what you're going to see in the next couple of weeks, in my opinion, is him try to put the emphasis on, oh, people are negative against me because of my crappy gameplay. Because he's wanting to slowly but surely take his life out of the situation now. One of the reasons why for that is because he can't profit off of it now. Because Twitch has got his hands in a bind, because he's been wounded, he now has to take a different approach. And he's going to keep exploiting his life, because you need the lure out there. But now he needs to focus the negativity directly on his gameplay and not on himself, or not on his life, if that makes sense. But then again, he still has to play the narrative and tell everybody how bad his life is and how he needs their help. It's going to be interesting to see how this happens over the next couple weeks. We'll see if I'm right. DSP News.
Okay, well, wait, no, and... No!
And, for the better. So, yesterday, I could have, in the wake of not being able to stream, I could have gotten furious and lashed out at the world, and I could have burned bridges and power-bombed people and right? But I didn't. In fact, I kind of just approached it from a different perspective. I was like, all right, so you hit a roadblock in life, right? What are you going to do? You're going to get all angry and shit over it for what? It's not the end of the world, right? You learn from it. You come back from it.
You mean you learn that you can't make easy money anymore, so now you have to find another workaround? Now he might actually have to put some effort into YouTube again? We'll see. It's going to be very, very interesting to see how this works out for him.
Stronger, better, smarter, in particular.
What?
Huh? What the fuck? Are you fucking serious?
I guess.
In fact, I said this on social media last night, and I'll say it again. This whole situation actually is a good thing. Because now, ladies and gentlemen, I actually have a direct point of contact at Twitch. So when I have issues, when I have questions, when I'm planning to do different things that maybe are outside of the norm of me just doing a standard gameplay stream, I have someone to talk to. Someone to answer my questions, someone to talk about concerns. That's really good. But now with Twitch, I actually have a direct point of contact who, by the way, I don't know if he's listening today, but he's been really good. Like, he's been very helpful. He's addressed my concerns. He's clarified a bunch of stuff for me, which, you know, for me, I didn't understand or thought it was kind of a gray area, and now I'm kind of understanding the situation. And he's a good guy, and it's been actually a very positive experience. Like I said, to come out of something negative with something positive.
And in truth, in a way, he kind of did give you a hint of what was going on with him. And as it pertains to him being monitored, in my first video when I did my breaking story, if you want to call it that, he is going to be monitored for a little while. They're going to keep a close eye on him because they want to make sure he doesn't break the agreement. He was given a warning. And like I said, he was given a warning once. Now he's got suspended. Now they're going to watch and see if he does it again. Now here's the thing about Phil. Because the sub count is dropping, he'll slip up again. It's a matter of time. He'll do it. It's all he can do. So he'll slip up again. We just got to give him time. We'll see what Twitch does next. This point of contact that he has currently is merely someone there to answer his questions. And essentially to keep him in order. He's the person who's watching him. He is the his CEO, if you will. He's the prisoner. He's the prison guard that's watching over the prisoner. And the moment that Phil gets out of hand, he's going to get squashed. If Phil antagonizes him in any way, if Phil excessively tries to reach out to him over the dumbest crap, the guy's going to drop him. It's what Twitch does. Like I said, just give it time. DSP News.
Is kind of the goal, you know, for these things to learn and to grow and to get better, right? And to have a better outlook the next day. Not to, again, to come back angry and stomping your feet and I don't think that's very productive anymore. You know, there was a time in my life when I was like that, over the years of YouTube in particular, when I had no one. That's the other thing. I had no one to talk to on YouTube to get you and figure out what was going on. What did I do wrong, right? What's happening? Now I have that with Twitch. Twitch is so the polar friggin' opposite.
Okay, Phil, don't suck that dick just yet. What about Machinima? You had Machinima. You didn't have a direct contact with YouTube, but you didn't need it. You had Machinima. And Machinima took care of a lot of his problems. They took really good care of him if you think about it. It was but then again, he was low maintenance. He wasn't, it didn't require much to make him happy because he was low maintenance. It's when he started to really antagonize these haters / detractors / trolls, and they really started to come for his headpiece, you know what I mean, is when they actually had to put some effort in. And then all of a sudden, it wasn't so fun no more. Then all of a sudden, when you got an email, so you went from having 1 or 2 emails from Philip Burnell every, 2 months, to now he's emailing you 20 times over the span of a weekend. It kind of gets annoying. So that's a bit dishonest for him to say that he never had a point of contact while he was on YouTube, because he did. It was Twitch.
Experience of what I've had with YouTube. Seriously, it is. And I like that. I do like that. Okay? So, honestly, I'm pleased. We're coming back today. Positive, happy, excited to do a full day of streaming with you guys. We're going to have 2 gameplay streams, which I'm going to talk about in just a moment. I'm very excited to come with all the stuff I'm going to be doing this week, Nothing's changed. We're just still on the same, kind of schedule we were on. Everything's, hunky-dory. Nothing's, no problems there. And I'm pretty pumped. I'm pumped to come back. All right, I'm feeling, again, a positive attitude. I'm not going to sit here and be angry or upset or disappointed. But I just find it hilarious, again, the amount of insane stupidity and slander and stuff all over the internet about me.
Oh, salt. It's even now, again, my mouth overpowered with salt flavor.
People completely speculating about this and that. What happened? Why didn't Phil stream? Where's his channel? Right? The insane amount of nonsense. So, I don't know. Pretty stupid. And I don't understand why people do this. But again, I'm not one of these.
Now, here's the thing. He won't tell his audience why he was suspended, but he will address the haters. I thought he just gave you guys a 2 or 3 minute epilogue on how he wanted to be positive and how he wanted to move forward. But you see how he always has to backtrack, and he has to throw some insults at some people. He has to. He knows nothing else but. So that essentially contradicts everything he said before that. It really does. Because he's telling you, plain as day, that these people bothered him and what they say bothers him. So if you're trying to be positive, you would block all that out. He doesn't want to tell his audience the real excuse on why he got suspended, but he wants to talk about what was the speculation by the haters and the trolls and everybody else on why he was suspended. That doesn't make any sense. If you're going to let it go, let it go. Don't sit there and do this. That's my opinion. DSP News.
Kind of people. So, I don't, some of the most hilarious things I heard, that I'm permanently banned from Twitch, that I'm a repeat offender, and this is my third suspension, I'm gone, it's over, I can't come back. I was like, huh? When have this ever happened before? Like, what are you talking about? People just, make stuff up completely out of thin air.
My mouth is full of salt.
Ladies and gentlemen, a lot of people, they're all speculating what happened, what's the reason why this happened, why I couldn't stream for a day. Well, obviously, folks, it's because of the new sexual content ruling on Twitch. If you're not aware, your wardrobe has to be very appropriate for streams, okay? And if you guys aren't aware, it's been deemed that my face is sexually inappropriate. So from now on, I'll be wearing a mask during all streams. That's obviously what's happened here, folks.
Definitely, as a person, I've grown, I've changed, I've become way more mature, that's for sure.
My face is very sexually arousing, and to the point where people are having issues watching my streams, and, they can't have the whole Twitch site rated, rated X. So I've got to wear a mask from now on, alright?
Okay.
No, that wasn't it. Hold on, let's see what happened. No. I went onto another streamer's stream with a real-life bazooka, and I put it in their face, and I threatened them with a bazooka live on stream. So now I've been banned from participating in my stream or anyone's streams permanently from now on. I mean, as stupid as that sounds, literally an idiot actually said this about me 2 weeks ago in regards to, well, actually it was about a week ago, in regards to Street Fighter tournaments. Some guy actually said that on stream, and people believed him. They said that I brought a knife to Street Fighter tournaments and was threatening people, and I'm permanently banned from all tournaments. Like, see what I mean? This is the kind of stupid shit that you...
Now, let me address that, because I made a video on it. You can find it on my channel, too. I made it not so long ago. But, essentially, they give you the long and short of it. Basically, what happened was, as a guy by the name of Cloud805 was playing Dragon Ball Fighter Z, saw a DSP gamer tag, and went into a story that was passed on to him about DSP. The problem was it wasn't DSP, it was somebody else. This, yet again, though, is what I've always said about Phil, and this is what it means to be infamous. Phil is not famous. Let me make that as clear to you as I possibly can. Philip Burnell is not famous. He's infamous. It is what it is. He will always be associated with, whether on SRK, in the FGC, on YouTube, even on Twitch, slowly but surely. He'll always be associated with negativity. If God forbid, if anything ever happened to Philip Burnell, would people be sorry that he passed away? Yes, a lot of us would. I know I would. But in truth, what will he be remembered for? It'll be remembered for the negativity. It's all he'll ever be remembered for. He won't be remembered for much of anything else. Now, there are people like my friend D, for example, and like Memology 101 that might make videos, D specifically, because he's actually pretty good at capturing the human aspect of Phil, at least what's left of it. He'll actually make a video or two that will actually show you the more human aspect of Phil. And despite his flaws, there might have been a decent human being in there somewhere years ago. But in truth, though, that's what he'll always be remembered for, and nothing else. And it's because of that is that there's all these different type of innuendo stories floating around SRK for, people around Cloud's kind of demographic, and they only hear the hearsay. Was Cloud wrong? Yeah, he was wrong. I mean, he was wrong about the details, but that's what he heard. Cloud himself doesn't even really know DSP. He just knows he's a piece of shit, but he doesn't know anything else. It is what it is. But anyway, that's what Phil's talking about it specifically. It's a funny story if you really want to get into it.
Here on a regular basis, it's just stupid. It's just so dumb.
The salty tears.
It's like, what the fuck? The bottom line, folks, is this. Alright?
You don't need to know what happened. It's 2008. When I started on YouTube, that's who I've been. The honest guy. You know me, I'm very transparent.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Okay.
It doesn't affect anything. For me to actually tell you what actually happened behind the scenes, it would benefit no one. It wouldn't help me. It wouldn't help you. All it would do is give fuel to idiots. Why am I toxic? More toxic, over dramatic, drama queen toxic.
Who don't need any more fuel. Trust me, they'll just make shit up anyway. They already have, right? So there's no reason to talk about it further. It's that simple. There's literally not a single reason to bring it up or talk about it further at all. Okay?
Now here's the thing. Okay, this is gonna be fun. I hope. By Phil saying, "Let it go," there's nothing to say. I'm not gonna tell you. It does a couple of things. One, and you can check under some of any detractors video. Not me specifically, but like the heavy hitters and whatnot, and you know who those guys are. Check under their videos, and you'll see some of those Phil supporters down there. You'll see some of the same usual names that will shit on one person's video and then go ahead and laugh it up in another. That's your DSP supporter right there. Most of the time, either that or they're in there to just try to shit up the comment section and they fail miserably. They'll always go to a detractor to find out what the truth is. It is what it is. His forums are a good example of that. Because guess what? They keep up with what's going on too. Even though a lot of them aren't signed on to Kiwi Farms, unlike Brightside Viking, who I just saw him up there recently, like in the last 24 hours, he's up there posting. He I guess he's never gonna leave Kiwi Farms. I guess he's got himself a nice little spot there. Probably because he's not a threat to nobody. No pun intended. But they'll always go to the detractors to find the truth. Always. It is what it is. It's just how it works now. If you ever want to find out the truth about Phil, you go to the detractors. It's just the easiest way to go about it. Now, here's where the negative and positive come into play. Phil not saying anything, he thinks it's a positive because he thinks it keeps his fan base kind of like delusional, and they kind of have no choice but to listen to what he says. Here's the problem. By him not being honest, by him not being transparent with them now and telling him what the situation is, if they do anything that breaks the code of conduct or the terms of service that Phil has agreed to, they will be the ones that end up taking him down. And they won't even know it because Phil wasn't man enough to tell them what happened. Phil wasn't man enough to say, hey, I was basically begging for money a little too excessively and I got caught up. And so this is what they want me to do now, so I don't do it. But see, you can't tell the sheep that you're slowly but surely conning how the con game works. It doesn't work that way. So he's going to try to isolate himself so he can continue the con, but he doesn't realize that the sheep are just going to go ahead and regurgitate everything they've already heard. So eventually people are going to be talking about, when's that fundraiser? When's that fundraiser? And then next thing you know, Phil has to ban the very people he's trying to get money out of. He's going to screw himself. Give it time. But he's going to screw himself. DSP News.
And already I see there's already people, cheering with requests of information and all kinds of stuff. You know what I mean? Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous stuff.
And that's where that whole positivity thing has to come into play. He can't react to those things anymore because he can't lash out at them and say, stop saying this, stop saying that, because it's only going to tip them off. So now he kind of has to tolerate it and ignore it. Even if there's money behind it, he has to kind of just bite the bullet on it now. Because if he comes out and exposes what happens, then the con's over. If he lets them go on and they end up spilling something into the chat that ends up negatively affecting Phil, he's screwed. He's basically tied up both ways. He's literally in between a rock and a hard place.
And, it's to the point where I'm not going to address it. I'm not. There's no point in it, right? There's literally no point to bring it up or say anything about it. People will say whatever they want anyway, right? And it's that simple. All you need to know is I'm back. All you need to know is I'm not at any risk. Everything's good to go. In fact, I'll even put it this way. I'll give you a little bit of perspective, all right? So yesterday, excuse me.
Jesus.
Burping here, so I'm starting to drink my energy drink. Whew. When I was talking with my new point of contact at Twitch, I even said, I said, should I be worried? Is this something, that's, super serious or whatever? Because, Twitch is huge to me. Twitch is the reason why I'm still doing this for a living. It's my main source of income. It's my livelihood, right? It is, very much. Twitch...
That sounds like the same thing he said about Machinima when his views started to drop, and he was basically going to them and saying, this is my only source of income, and, everything I have is wrapped up in this. If this doesn't work out, I can't pay my bills. You guys remember that? With that Machinima situation? It's starting to sound like that all over again.
Is what I do on a daily basis. Like I said, all the YouTube stuff over the past year has very much become the secondary content, the more, supplementary stuff, just archiving my Twitch streams and posting them over on YouTube. But for me, my focus is doing daily fun, live, interactive gameplay streams with you guys. That's what I want to do. That's what's been successful. Why wouldn't I want to focus on that, right? And basically, he came back to me and said, listen, don't overthink things. You're worrying too much and you're overthinking things. You really are. This is not a big deal. And as long as you just, abide by what we've talked about, we're good to go. You don't have to worry about anything, man. And I even went back to him again. I said, well, I just want to apologize in advance because you realize there's now going to be, probably dozens, if not hundreds, of false reports that you're going to be getting over the course of the next week or two because people are so toxic about me on the internet. They're going to be trying at every moment to be saying that I violated the rules, to try to get me banned again. You can expect this insane influx of false reports. And he goes, yeah, I know. He says, all you got to do is worry about yourself and make sure that you're, everything you're doing is kosher per the rules, like you 99.9% of the time have been. And, just be safe for yourself. And now,
don't worry about the incredible amounts of...
Okay, let me cut in real quick. So, two things. One, where he says that, hey, this is my livelihood and so on and so forth. And, do I have something to be worried about? And the guy's like, yo, just relax and whatnot. And, and just calm down and just play by the rule book that I put in front of you and you'll be fine. Isn't that the same thing that Machinima told him when it came down to the whole situation with YouTube and the ad apocalypse? And they were like, hey, we don't have any information yet. Keep doing what you're doing. Take this little bit of advice that we're giving you and just play it cool. And Phil didn't do it. He was an asshole. And that's what eventually got him kicked off. He probably went in full panic mode in almost the exact same way with them. But the thing is, though, is he's new there. He doesn't have no grounds. He doesn't have no footing, really. And so they could really just go ahead and ban him, and it wouldn't even matter. And he knows that because people compare him to low-tier God a lot. So that guy immediately probably put a stop to him and was like, hey, calm down, listen to what I'm telling you to do, and you should be fine. Second thing, where it pertains to the whole, I got all these haters and trolls, and you're going to get all these false reports and whatnot. He did admit that he was banned. 2, he screwed himself over because now that guy has to take a mental note and think, oh man, is this guy going to be more of a headache than he's really worth? And then is he gonna do away with him? Now, is he gonna do away with him right now? No. They'll wait until he gets into decline, just like Machinima did. He's valuable as long as he makes money. The thing is you can see he's in sharp decline. They're essentially pinching pennies to have somebody who is essentially an idiot keep emailing you and trying to contact you day in, day out whenever someone comes at him in a way that would make him nervous, quote unquote. Phil has just exposed himself to this guy and saying that this is really all I have. And even though I have YouTube, but I don't really want to deal with it. If he becomes too much of a problem, they'll pass this guy that's currently his point of contact will pass him to somebody else. That person will get tired of Phil and pass him to somebody else. Eventually, Phil's going to get himself kicked off this platform. We'll have to wait and see how he plays it. But if he panicked like I think he did, and I'm pretty confident that he did it, and this guy had to tell him, relax, listen to what I'm telling you and do as I say, and you'll be all right, Phil slowly but surely is setting him up to fail. Is setting himself up to fail. I guarantee it. DSP News.
Reports from idiots. And by the way, he literally said that. He said, I believe idiots. So he agrees with me. He agrees with me that these people are idiots. I guess I'm not that smart.
And they just do what they do, to be fucking friggin', trolls and morons. And, when you have the business that you're working with agreeing with you on that, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. I really do. I feel like Twitch has my back. And that's a good thing. That's a very good thing.
Twitch loves me and my streams.
Here we go. Oh my god. So I told you, I've got trolls in the stream chat saying some of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard. Hey, get this guy out of here.
by the way, I really desperately need the money to help with my tax situation. So, hint, hint, save the house.
I believe we do have a couple mods, if you guys can help me out here. If you just got to take a look at some of the people who are cheering right now, they're saying, obviously insulting or stupid things. So if you guys can take care of it, so I don't have to stop the pre-stream to take care of it myself, I would appreciate it. Okay?
Laziness.
Tomorrow, we've got a full day of interactive multiplayer. Alright, it's going to be good. And I hope we've been building up to this for a while. It's going to be PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds on my first stream, and it's going to be Call of Duty World War II on my second stream.
Now, during tomorrow's streams, since it is multiplayer gameplay, we will be bringing back those stream stat leaderboards. You'll have things like top cheer and top tip, and we'll have subs count and everything on screen. Keep in mind, I don't do those for ongoing narrative style playthroughs that are going to go on YouTube as playthroughs that are continuous. Like for example, Grand Theft Auto, Secret of Mana. I don't do them. But when I'm doing just multiplayer gameplay, that's when I bring them in, and it's pretty cool because tracks all that stuff and gives people recognition. So that will be tomorrow. All right, all day tomorrow will be multiplayer gameplay, fun multiplayer gameplay.
That I hope you guys will enjoy. And we'll come and hang out because it's more tomorrow will definitely be more like a hangout day. And by the way, folks, if you guys aren't aware, tomorrow is the final day of February. So here's the thing: for a day, I couldn't stream. For a day, no one could access the channel.
Subs are way down.
It was to be expected, folks. What else was going to happen? All right, what else was going to happen when I wasn't here for a day? Right? There's not much you can do about it. If I'm not here, you can't resub, right? Well, now I'm back. So for those who, subs dropped, don't get discouraged. It's cool. We still got 2 days left. We got the rest of today, which will be a full double stream day, and then we got tomorrow for people who want to resub and get in on subbing for this month. Keep in mind, if we hit 550 subs, I'll be starting a cooking show with my girlfriend, which is pretty cool. We could still do it, very much. All right?
It's just going to take a lot of rallying, a lot of support, people coming out here and subbing to the channel to do it. If we don't do it, is it a big deal? Not really. That's 100% a lie. Mm-hmm. And it's 100% wrong. I know you're lying. I'm good at lying.
Not really.
Although, obviously, I would like to maintain what I have. Oh my God. It's terrible. It's greed. It's greed. Greed is massively strong. I have no fucking self-control. But we just had so many circumstances this month, so many gifted subs that expired, and now we've got, day I was away. What can you do? It's not anyone's fault, right? It is what it is. That's life. So, tomorrow will be a big day of hanging out on stream, interacting. Excuse me, I knew that was coming. Shout outs!
Alright, King of Hypocrisy cheered and said, I think that guy meant that you blocked him on Twitter, because you block a lot of people on Twitter. Can you unblock me on Twitter? Did I not just say that cheering or tipping during the stream is not a good time to ask to get unblocked? Like, do you really think right now what I'm going to do? I'm going to stop the stream. Stop everything. Drop everything. And I'm going to go on Twitter to personally unblock you during the stream? No. Like I said, you got an issue, you can always email
But you've done that before, though. So why can't you do it now?
me, contact them on, etc. Alright.
It's gross. It's for this. It's not because they love what they're doing. It's not because for the love of the game or because they're true gamers. It's for this. And this is what it's become. It's not about putting out a quality review. It's not about putting out a quality playthrough or a quality stream. It's about making this. Anything for this, right?
Yep. Later on that
Tomorrow,
day.
folks, if you're not aware, tomorrow's going to be a very important day. Tomorrow is the final day of February, all right? Which means it's going to be the final chance for you to subscribe to the channel.
Yeah, he does actually sound pretty terrible in this. And this one around, he sounds horrible.
And have an account for February towards February's goal of trying to get a cooking show going with my girlfriend, Kat. Okay? In addition, it'll be the final day, to tip and kind of, help out with everything going on around. It's going to be a full multiplayer day, if you guys aren't aware. Double multiplayer gameplay tomorrow. That'll be the main stream. Again, big opportunity for people to get shout outs for their cheer subs and tips and have a lot of interactivity with me during those streams. In particular, yes, I will have stream goals and statistics set up for, the monthly goal we have set up for subs, as well as I'll have a tips goal, because I am trying to, basically, by the end of the month, get a big push, a big positive push here. So we can end the month strong. And so, after me working on my taxes yesterday, I can maybe not worry so much about this impending payments that are coming up in April. You know what I mean? So it's going to be a fun stream in that regard. And again, yes, there will be stream stats up. We'll still have the subs goal going. We'll have a tips goal going for the day. And hopefully, by the end of the day, not only will it be 2 amazingly fun online gameplay streams with lots of interactivity, but hopefully, maybe we'll hit the subs goal, maybe we'll hit the tips goal, and, it'll, help me out in a big way, right? Wow. Pretty pathetic. I hope you guys will come tomorrow. Tomorrow, I'm really looking for, as much as possible, support, attendance, everything, big important day for me, trying to close the month strong. Hoping we can get a lot of the subs back that we lost over the course of the last couple of weeks. Hoping that, maybe we'll get a big push for tips. We'll see. We'll see how it goes tomorrow. Again, I would appreciate anything that you can lend if you're here. It would be awesome. If you can't make it, it's still cool. I appreciate you guys just being here in general and enjoying my stuff. But after doing my taxes yesterday, it was kind of an eye-opener. I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen come April. I mean, I could owe a ridiculous amount of money. And obviously, now I need to, basically now, March, and the first half of April, I need to work my butt off to entertain you guys and, do as well as I can so that when this ginormous bill hits me, I can afford it. I'm not here to be a whore. All right? I'm not here to beg you for money. I'm not going to sit here and beg you for fucking money. What pasta do you prefer?
Well, listening to him at the end was pretty eye-opening, to be honest with you. He sounds like a man who's extremely desperate and who doesn't know what he is going to do. And I gotta tell you, that was unexpected. I gotta be honest with you. That was very unexpected what happened there. But it is what it is. Phil made his bed, so he has to live in it, or he has to sleep in it. Especially since he can't get money the easy way anymore. But that's neither here nor there. And we'll continue our coverage, and we'll see how he does. Let's see if he ends up breaking character in some way, shape, or form. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, this was DSP News. Always late, never breaking, unreliable coverage that you can't count on. A GTG Network and Productions. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Alright guys, this is GTG signing off. End the broadcast. Oh boy. How's he gonna get around asking for money now if he can't? He has to ask for money and he can't ask for money. That's crazy. Oh boy, let's see if he's as smart as he says he is. Hopefully that business degree can come through for him.
Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying? Oh my god, stop your fucking lying.